The cost of a divorce, we can start with maybe the happy circumstance of an uncontested divorce without a lot of acrimony. If there are no children, if there's no house to be divided, no real estate issues, no retirement accounts, you start with a filing fee that the court charges of $250. It wouldn't be extraordinary for parties who can readily agree on terms to spend a total of maybe $1,000, including the court filing fee, on an uncontested divorce. And there'd be a little bit more time and expense involved in properly dealing with retirement accounts or a house. And certainly if there are children, then there are some more issues to be dealt with. But even if the couple has children, has a house, has retirement accounts, if the parties can fairly readily agree, and in doing so avoid having to have hearings, best case scenario, you could certainly have an uncontested divorce even in those circumstances where it might only be about $1,500, including the filing fee. That those numbers are optimistic. Again, I probably said several times already, it's based on readily agreeing to some terms, even if you don't necessarily start out knowing what you want to do. On the other end of the spectrum, divorces can cost several $1,000s, many thousands of dollars, and in unfortunate cases, tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes because the issues really are complex and the cost is all but unavoidable. I like to think that those extreme cases where I'm describing many thousands of dollars or even tens of thousands of dollars overwhelmingly are entirely avoidable. There's an expression I like to use where it's as if sometimes someone thinks they have to pick up and examine every single stone they encounter, perhaps, or every seashell they encounter while walking along the beach. And a court would say, well, if it's has a reasonable likelihood of maybe leading to the discovery of something that might be relevant to this case, give them the information, and you end up exchanging all sorts of information, writing answers to many written questions. But some of that effort to examine every single stone one encounters, I certainly like to avoid, especially when it really doesn't have a lot of weight on what the ultimate proper result of the case should be. And I encourage my client to see things that way, and we can save a lot of money with that approach. The same, I'd say an analogous approach to disputes. You might have a legitimate argument against something the other person claims to need or wants to do. But if you think in terms of the cost of the dispute, and if it really doesn't matter to you, it's probably good if a client who maybe is a little emotional, certainly human, entitled to some emotion, maybe has the benefit of an objective attorney saying, this is another example of where maybe we can save a lot of time on the proceeding, we can save a lot of expense by just saying, okay, we can let somebody have that information, or we can avoid this sort of derailing argument and really keep our eye on what matters. Get the thing done a whole lot sooner with a lot less emotional toil and ideally with a lot less cost.